Every bug, test, and automation starts with a request and ends with a response. Welcome to the Request Response channel. My name is Alex, and today we are going to learn how to properly test a login API in a clean, professional way using real APIs and real testing techniques. This is one of the most common and most important APIs every QA engineer must know.
We will use a real API, a real authentication flow, and a clean testing approach using Bruno. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to check in a login API and how to avoid the most common mistakes beginners make. Before writing any test, let's understand what a login API is actually supposed to do. A correct login endpoint must validate user credentials, return a success status code, provide an access token, and reject invalid credentials clearly. If any of these fail, the API is broken, even if the UI still looks like it works. Let's build the login request from scratch. I'm using the SQL.js API, which provides a real authentication flow. The method is post and endpoint is api.sqljs.co API v1 of login, as you can see here. In the request body, we have a JSON with email and password fields. This is how real APIs work. Credentials go in the body and never in the URL. Let's send the request. And first rule, don't just look at green and celebrate. We check the status code, of course. We expect 200 and here we receive 200 OK, which is OK for SQL.js, but normally it's 200. Next, the response body. We must receive an access token and a refresh token. If there is no token, login has failed, no matter what the UI says. This is one of the most common beginner mistakes, checking only the status code and ignoring the response content. Now let's turn this into automation. In the test tab, I will attach a test case, and now Bruno automatically validates the login and stores the token. For us, no manual copying required. This is where real automation starts. As you can see, everything is passed, and here we checked our status code and our two properties in a response body. A login test is never complete without a negative case. Let's intentionally break it. Duplicate the current request and update the password. Send the request and we expect login should fail, as you can see. Status code is 401 unauthorized. It's exactly what we can see, and a clear message appears in a response body. Now let's update our test case and send request again. If the API ever starts accepting bad credentials, this test will immediately catch it. A login API is useless if the token doesn't actually authenticate anything. Let's verify it. Create a new request. Method is get. Endpoint is sqljs.co API v1 auth profile. Now we can add our authentication with a bearer token, which we saved in our login user request. Also, let's add test case, which will check the status code and check in response body that we have two fields ID and email. Let's send this request. If this pass, it proves login was successful, token returned, and token works on protected endpoint. Once again, this login test is never complete without a negative case, so we have to be sure that we can't access user profile without a token. So let's create a negative test case, update it here, and remove in authentication our token, save it, and let's send the request. We expect login should fail, status 401 unauthorized, and a clear error message appears. If the API ever starts provide the user profile information without a token, this test will immediately catch it. Now our full authentication workflow with positive and negative test cases and validations is complete. These are mistakes I see all the time. Checking only status code, not validating token fields, manually copying tokens, not chaining requests, treating login as just one request. A correct login test flow always means login verifies the API can authenticate a real user successfully. Token ensures the API issues a valid usable authentication token. Protected endpoint proves that authentication flow works end to end, not just login. Anything less is incomplete.
If this helps you understand APIs better, consider subscribing. I'm building practice in tests and content for real QA engineers. Thanks for watching, and remember, every great test starts with a request and ends with a response.